It's so nice to have you both. It's really quite an honor, Craig. I always love listening and learning and laughing and talking history.
Yeah, we do. We go way back, like 7 presidents, a long time ago. We met when Gerald Ford was president. How's that?
So I have a couple of questions. I'm going to just start our panel. Pompano Beach has been next for a long time. What actually changed in the last 3 to 5 years that made it now? And I'll start with you, Mayor.
Okay, well, we all know that Pompano was supposed to be next for many, many years. Pompano was known as Pompano for a lot of years. Yeah, so you can laugh. It's because that's what it was. Mm-hmm. But it started. I wish I could take all the credit, but it really started under our former mayor Lamar Fisher, who's now, of course, is county commissioner. But we developed a vision with the help of some consultants, RMA. That's a group we worked with to really define a vision for Pompano Beach. And it took from 2009. That's when we really started that process. It took until about 5 years ago for things to really start rolling. And it's people look at Pompano and say, wow, you guys really, you did it. Well, they don't see that the years of struggles before it really happened. Because without those years of struggles and years of commitment, we wouldn't have what we have today. And that is the spark that really is lighting the fire in Pompano Beach. So it looks like it's been a huge transition overnight, so to speak, but it's been a lot of hard work over a lot of years to really get to this point. And we've been overlooked for years because we couldn't get out of our own way. So we decided to change Pompano Beach. Things like being more business friendly, our building department, all of this stuff we worked on years ago to try and really set the stage to make Pompano Beach a more appealing, attractive destination for developers. Because we knew the development community would bring people, and that's really what it's about, serving the people.
And Craig, I asked the same question of you. What has actually changed in the past 3 to 5 years? We watched this real estate market blow up.
When Rex and I were little kids, we built Lincoln Logs,
yeah.
Okay? And it started with a little bit of a foundation. And you just heard Rex say that since 2009, he's been working, since forever, they've been working on these building blocks.
Yeah.
Pompano was ignored, including by my company, Related. The West Palm Beach, Miami, a little bit of Fort Lauderdale, Miami. It was ignored. It was Related. They started with Solomar. And honestly, my boss, George Perez, was a bit nervous about it because he wasn't sure that Pompano had the market appeal to sell luxury condos on the beach. Listen, the work of this man and the city council for years, nothing's an overnight success. You work your ass off forever and ever and ever, and then one day, boom, things pop. That's what happened under his leadership, and Lamar.
Yeah.
But Pompano, as I was explaining to Rex, we have families from all over the world. Argentina, for example, that are buying luxury condos now in Pompano. And I'm trying to de-emphasize the word no.
Yeah.
I get the Pompano. And I was part of that. I've been here for 34 years. I kind of ignored it myself. My family lives in Boca. I have a twin sister and lots of other sisters. And my mom and dad aren't here anymore, but they used to live in Boca. Drive right past Pompano. And now I'm involved now I work for Related. And between Casamar and Solomar, Waldorf Astoria, which today is 85% sold, and this magnificent property, which, by the way, I don't want you to lose perspective. When you look outside those windows, all the way to Atlantic Boulevard is this property. This is going to, one day, 4 years from now, well, I shouldn't say 4, Related wants me to say 3, probably 4. This will be iconic. When you're on that bridge, because the bridge goes up all the time because we're part of the boating capital of the world.
Yeah.
And you are on that bridge going over towards A1A, this building is going to be a mouth dropper. Pompano, Carolyn, it's part of the lexicon of conversation in real estate circles all over South Florida now.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all remember when Oceanside launched. It was the only one.
Oh, yeah.
We had all the property around, and we kept thinking, well, we are always coming up to Pompano because we want to go to Cafe Max. But I was at Fort Lauderdale, loved to walk on the beach in Pompano, but there's nothing. There's no restaurants, no any other future development. And I think, where's Cindy Leventhal?
Where is she? Cindy.
Cindy was the star.
There she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we were just talking that there was happening. It was really
Yeah.
like, oh, this is such a great deal on the ocean. But it took us.
And I thought Cindy was hiding out. I swear.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought she was part of the witness protection program.
Yeah, just real briefly, because really, to put it in a different context, if you think about what Pompano Beach has done, I mean, consider your own businesses. Okay, you didn't go out one day and say, okay, I'm going to be a star realtor. You did a lot of work before it actually hit. Now, once it hit, suddenly you're on fire and everybody's looking at you like, wow, how did you sell that $10 million property? But they don't realize you've been working for 5 years prior to that to get to the level where you could be there. And that's kind of like Pompano. I mean, we had to invest in our own city to get out of our own way to really make it work. And now it's working.
So what specifically did you do to attract the developers to really add to the growth for Pompano Beach, to have an interest?
Well, as I said,
What's the pitch, I guess?
we remade our city. We hired the right people for our city management. We revamped our building department. That was, I mean, people, and everybody complains about building departments. I don't care if it's Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, Plantation. The building department is the scapegoat for everybody who's running late. It's always the building department's problem. But in Pompano Beach, it really was. But we revamped our building department. We told them, okay, no longer is it going to be when somebody submits something, you just push it back across the table and say it's rejected. No, you work with people. You say, okay, here's how we can make it work. And that's all developers are looking for. They're looking for an honest conversation. If you tell them what the rules are and you work with them in good faith, they'll come to your city. And that's what's happened in Pompano Beach. We've been honest with the development community, letting them know what our rules are, what we're looking for as far as the type of development, the quality, the height, the density, all of that types of stuff. And yeah, if you set out the rules and you get your reputation out there that you'll stick by it, you're not going to pull the rug out from somebody at the last minute, word travels. And that's what happened.
Craig, the next question is solely on you. The luxury branded market. Yes, that's it. We're seeing so much luxury product here at once.
Yeah.
We worry about absorption, we worry about not worry, but we think, how are we going to manage the growth and how do we support the current levels of pricing, maintain it, also offering our new buyers what investment potential in increasing value? It's a big question.
Yeah, no, it's good. Right after 2020, I forgot. Michelle Nunez is here, and she's representing Fortune that developed the Ritz down the street, and they actually jumped ahead of Related with Waldorf. You were the first.
Solar came out in 2020, May 2020. Everything was averaging $750 per foot. We came out at the end of 21, and we were the first branded project.
That's where I was. Thank you,
Yep.
Michelle Nunez. That's where this is a great segue. Thank you. We should work together a little bit more.
Wasn't Ritz-Carlton just before you?
Yeah. Well, before Waldorf and W.
Yeah.
See, they were the first guys. That's the point. These brands, they just don't vet out the developer. They vet out the town. Mm-hmm. And Fortune broke the ice. They opened the door. The Garde de Fortune and Fortune, they brought Ritz here. And my boss, George Perez, he responds fast. Next thing you know, Waldorf. Next thing you know, W. They just don't vet out the developer. They have to believe that their brand is going to be in an appropriate neighborhood. And they do. They send 7,000 vice presidents, all under the age of 40, and they do all kinds of due diligence. They know as much about real estate as I know about flying a plane, but that's not the point. They know what neighborhoods have a vibe, and they were feeling it.
Yeah.
Rex, I swear to God, they were feeling it. Now, timing. Let me answer it this way. It's a bit of a silly answer, but I played high school football in the 70s. I had the head coach in Manasquan, New Jersey. And he said, Craig, there's 3 types of players. There's those that make plays. There's make things happen. There's those that watch what happened. And then there are those that wondered what happened. Fortune, Related, they're making things happen. and they got a little bit of help. What's the old story? The harder you work, the luckier you get. Miami's not the same Miami anymore, Carolyn. In my last Miami report, I did this Miami report for 17 years. It's a market study, supply and demand. That's all it is. But this woman from England who represents the New York Times called me 2 weeks ago. It's a long answer, but I'm trying to make a point. And she asked me, Linda, with a lovely accent, asked me, are you still getting the athletes and the actors and actresses and artists, those celebrities, in Miami? Oh my God, Linda, you bring me back to the 90s and the 2000s. Remember Ocean Drive magazine?
Yes.
Before these phones, before social media, that was our catalog of real estate. I couldn't wait to get that book because it was big. And you would flip all the pages to see what was happening. And there was a project here, project here, project. Oh, there's Sylvester Stallone. Oh, there's Madonna. Oh, there's Dan Marino. Oh, there's this guy. Yeah, but we don't talk about them anymore. We still get the athletes. We have Lionel Messi, greatest soccer player maybe ever lived. But no, the new celebrities in South Florida are CEOs.
Yeah.
They're changing the whole culture, starting with Miami, and they're driving the prices in Miami to the roof. A guy named Howard Schultz. Everybody here likes coffee. He's the CEO of Starbucks. He bought a condo in Miami Beach about a month and a half ago at the Four Seasons in Surfside. He paid $44 million for a condo. Now, come on, master brokers, that can't be that surprising to you anymore because the prices are like nuts. But it was $8,000 a foot. Savan and her team are selling, and Fortune, this is their list, they're selling this for $1,500 a foot on the beach. So Miami, now can I add to this? Because I was with Related today. I was with Matt Allen. Matt Allen's been the chief operating officer of Related for 25 years. He's a friend. We're having lunch. He bought a Casa Mar. Now Matt lives in Miami Shores in a very expensive home. He's worked his ass off for 25 years and amassed a small fortune. One of his best friends is a guy named Matt Gorson. Matt Gorson, you all heard of the law firm Greenberg Traurig? Some of you like him, some of you, happens. He's the chairman of that law firm. Talk about a small fortune. He is about to negotiate to buy a penthouse here. Matt Allen owns it, Casa Mar. A guy named Tony Del Pozo. I have his permission as well. He's been working for George Perez for 25 years. He manages all of George's money. A lot of money. He and his wife bought a condo here. You got these guys from Related that know values, as well as I know my middle name. And they're buying condos in Pompano Beach, Mayor.
Yep.
And Matt Allen, I can speak for him. And I think for Matt Gorson. Matt Allen is talking about the Irish bars in Pompano. I don't have that much. He discovered Irish bars. He's Irish. He's loving Pompano. Matt Gorson told Matt Allen, he said, I love how beachy Pompano is. And I thought, wow, see, that's not an economic consideration. Mm-hmm. People that are buying here, and I say, or Savannah and the team, you guys say $1,500 a foot to a broker from Miami, they're like, no way. Because they're so used to those telephone numbers now down in Miami. And those are real numbers. I mean, 8,000 a foot is extraordinarily high. But if you could somehow, it's impossible to find this kind of land. And let me just humor me for a minute. If you could find this land in Miami Beach, this is $4,000 to $5,000 a foot all day long because the land prices are crazy. And this is $1,500 a foot. And it's sandwiched, as George Perez embarrassed me once one day, with Solimar. George, really, Pompano, this is like 8 years ago? But, Craig, it's between Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale. How can it miss? This is before this guy became mayor. This is before the pier got done.
Yeah.
Matt Gorson said, I like how beachy it is. This guy owns a home in Aspen, like, 100 million plus. He can afford anything. He likes how beachy this place is. What I'm loving is that it's kind of like Pompano has become attracted to old money that likes how uncrowded Pompano is. Mm-hmm. See, I think, Mayor, your challenge is, how do you keep Pompano?
Yeah.
Actually, that's my next transition question. Thank you, Craig. This is for the mayor.
Now it's on him. I get to take the rest of the day off.
As the skyline changes, Mayor, how do you make sure the infrastructure, traffic, and services don't fall behind?
Well, I mean, that's always a challenge, especially the traffic portion. Our infrastructure is strong. We've invested throughout the years in the infrastructure, the roads, the sewer systems, the yada yada yada. We have got Pompano staff. Really, I'm going to brag a little bit. They're fantastic. They really are. We've got some of the best staff going. They really pay attention to the issues that affect our community, the ones that people, that sometimes other communities let slide by the wayside and comes up bubbling out of the street. That doesn't happen in Pompano, not very often. So the infrastructure is good. The traffic, look, it's a fact of life. And I tell this to residents too. We're not going to do away with traffic. It's a problem. It's a problem we need to manage. We can't get rid of it. We've already embraced microtransit here in the beach area through Circuit, trying to get people out of their cars, giving them free rides where they want to go. You need to go from here to Publix to buy some groceries. You can take Circuit. That way you don't need to use your car. And multiple people ride in these things. So we're trying to manage the impacts that the growth will bring. But one thing that we really have to keep light of in Pompano Beach, and we've been very, very cautious about this, is to make sure that Pompano Beach stays that beachy community.
Amen.
Okay? And that means we don't want to turn into a Fort Lauderdale.
No.
Nothing against Fort Lauderdale. I love going down there. 2nd Street, Marsh Street. I mean, it's fun. It's cool. Fort Lauderdale developed their vision. They said, "Yep, this is what we want to do, and by God, we're going to do it." And they did. So that's great. They've got their huge, big buildings, dense downtown. That's not Pompano. In fact, it's interesting. At the I think it was at the Waldorf Astoria, at the groundbreaking for the Waldorf. Somebody from Hilton, because they oversee the Waldorf brand, somebody from Hilton was down for the groundbreaking, and he got up on stage and he said, this is the first one we've done, the Waldorf Astoria residences. We could have gone anywhere, but we chose Pompano Beach because Pompano Beach has got a kind of a small town charm to it, and yet it's got everything you want in a big city. And that's the challenge, is to make sure we don't lose that. And that's why we've been careful about heights, about densities. And look, there's plenty of development will come and is here already. We're not trying to scare away developers with our rules and regulations. We just want to make sure we don't lose that special sauce that makes Pompano Beach what it is. And that's the real challenge, and that's what we're going to work on every single day. Thank you. Yeah. You don't want to kill the goose that lays the golden egg.
No,
That's really what it is.
no.
It'd be easy to say, okay, yep, whatever, just build whatever, as close together as many. No, we've got something special, and we're going to keep it.
And by the way,
Yeah.
Carolyn, before you ask the next question, along those lines, Waldorf Astoria, I was given permission to announce this. There are, and in fact, oh God, she's here. There's a Canadian family that bought a penthouse at Waldorf Astoria for just shy of 20 million. I'm not going to say 18, just shy of 20 million.
Congratulations.
There's another penthouse that sold for just shy of 18, like 17.9. God bless you.
Bless you.
God
Bless
bless you.
you.
So we're all in sales. So let's round up to 20 million. Okay, it's a little bit of a venial sin. I'm Catholic. A little bit of a venial sin. You got $20 million condo buyers buying real estate in Pompano Beach.
Yeah.
Huh?
Cash.
Even with a Canadian dollar.
Sorry, Selena.
And yet, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But you take that together with people like Matt Allen from Related, Matt Gorson from Greenberg, you're getting a different cusp of old money now discovering this beachy town, Mayor
Yeah.
Rex. Dude, you got a little bit of a challenge to keep this kind
Yeah.
of quainty.
I know.
Because Boca got really crowded, and Fort Lauderdale's really crowded. Everything in South Florida is crowded. Anybody that complains about crowds here, I'm like, I live in Sunny Isles Beach.
Yeah.
I sometimes can't get out of my garage in the morning. And I love the beach because I'm a beach boy. I grew up in New Jersey on the shore, and I'm a beach boy. But this beach, by the way, this beach reminds me a lot, with the exception of the palm trees, of Jersey. These beaches are so nice.
Big.
They're really, oh, God bless you, brother. Yes, I grew up in Spring Lake, right next door. Right next door. You're killing me right now. No, don't do this to me. Well, Avon's a little further. Anyway, it's beachy. Mayor Rex, the people that appreciate this beachy thing, they don't mind paying the money. Mm-hmm. They mind you maintaining the theme.
Yeah. That's it.
Sorry, I had a...
Actually, it's a perfect segue. So you globally talked about our buyers on the huge scale, but who's buying your average $5 million unit? Who's buying your condo hotel properties? And has that changed in the past few years?
Teacher.
And I'll follow up. I'll follow up.
The capital of Florida is Tallahassee. You know what I'm loving about these condo hotels? There's two, according to Savannah, I always get the number wrong, 292. There's a lot of them, right? 296. I've never been good at math. You know, about a third of our buyers live in Boca Raton, Weston, Parkland, I don't know, all over Coral Springs. They want these as pied-à-terres. I mean, Related is the king. They are the maestro of amenities. And amenities rule the roost today, even for traditional condos with rental restrictions. Because I have noticed, and I'm going to give you a little Miami report, most of the resales that are happening in condos are like less than 10 years old because they're loaded with amenities. You see, most of the people that are moving, that are buying condos in South Florida, whether it's Palm Beach County, Broward County, or Dade County, they're moving here. They're trading in their California, New Jersey, Virginia, New York driver's licenses to Florida. They're moving here and they want a bigger experience. Florida did get a little crowded, right? All of us complain. All of us have a little more road rage than we thought we were born with because it got a little crowded. Imagine living in a condo like this where you park your car on a Friday and you don't need it until Monday. Yeah. Because everything that you can have is here. And that's what the people that are moving here want. They want a bigger experience. A pool and a gym doesn't do it anymore. It just doesn't. So, you know, I'm just loving the trend of what's going on with these condo developments. And I'm particularly loving that with respect to these condo hotels, you got local people that are not selling their houses. They're too young. They've got kids in school, but they got to get away. So this is their Friday night, Saturday night, I got to get my brain back together place. And they chose Pompano Beach. They also chose what we call W 2.0. I sold W in the W, forgive me, but I sold the W in Fort Lauderdale for Related. Yeah. Oh shit, 10, 15 years ago. Pardon my French. You know, the W brand, for those of you that don't know, was created by a guy named Barry Sternlick from Starwood Properties. He created it about 40 years ago. He created it for guys, all three of us, for the baby boom generation. And 40 years ago, we liked dark spaces and Rolling Stones music, maybe Springsteen, you know, maybe Jethro Tull, that dark rock and roll. Well, it's 40 years ago. This is what Marriott calls W 2.0. The spaces are lighter. It's soft rock. I dare say Barry Manilow, but you know what I mean. I still love Springsteen. Exactly. So we'll call it Secret Garden, okay? It's the vibe changed with the new W's because Sternlick and Marriott still wants to maintain the baby boom generation appeal, but they're designing them differently for people. We don't have tennis, we have pickleball because our knees hurt, but we still like to do the bada bada boop. That's what this is. That's what this is. And when you see the presentation, people are going, this is exactly what I'm looking for. All we did was copy W's design. And I'm kind of digging that people from South Florida are buying these as second homes. Yeah. For just Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's a woman cave, it's a man cave, it's a getaway cave to South Floridians. I mean, how's that for a testimonial for you, right?
It's true. We do get a lot of locals. In fact, going back to the topping off of the Waldorf Astoria, there was an elderly gentleman who was talking to somebody from Hilton, and he had just bought a unit at the Waldorf. And he said, you know, normally I don't buy brand new because, nope, there's too many problems. But he said, because it's the Waldorf, I decided to go ahead and do it. He's moving out of his 2,100 square foot condo in Fort Lauderdale. He decided, nope, he was moving to Pompano. He heard a lot of good things about Pompano, and he wanted to experience the brand. And it's not all these foreign investors that are just showing up to plant their cash. Oh, there's plenty of that too, but it's local people. It's amazing. It really is.
And the rest of them, Carolina? Colombia, Argentina. Anybody knows anything about the history of Brazil? I mean, Pompano. It's Brazil. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Yeah. Brazilians have always loved Pompano. Always.
Price point, though, that
was always the thing. Yeah.
It's like $1 million buyer. It's not a $5 million.
Yeah, but that was like a $200 square foot buyer. Now they're paying $1,500 a foot, and they're happy because they're at a W. And more than that, they're on this beach. They're on this beach. There's a lot of money, by the way. FYI, 26 and 27 expect a lot of business from Brazil. They have this president, Lula, who's allowed people to make a lot of money, but it's going to cause devaluation. And I hear that all the time from Brazilian brokers. And Pompano's always been a magnet for Brazilians. But add that to, Weston, to New Yorkers. We got people from, Simon, help me out. We got people from St. Louis, we have 2 sales agents tonight in Long Island, New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're there because that's
Saying-
a big market for us.
Saying W and Mondami and W. But a lot of buyers from Long Island is really, we're from everywhere, Mayor,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And when I said earlier, from all over the world, I mean, it's mostly North and South America, but that's kind of the new Pompano. It's not, yeah, anyway.
I'm just going to shift for a moment, Mayor. So what about Pompano Beach keeps you up at night? What are you doing? What's missing? How can we?
The thing that really keeps me up at night is thinking about housing affordability. I know it's funny to mention in the context of the W and Waldorf and Ritz and all that, but look, there's a lot of people who still live in South Florida who need a place to live, and they can't afford something like this. And with the pressure that we have put on the market with these luxury products, that's just driven up the price of everything else, which is good. I mean, it's great. And I know that I've got a room full of realtors here, so yeah, we want that. And I personally want that because I want my residents to see the appreciation of their properties. But housing affordability, the person who you drive through in the morning to a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts, I'll tell you what, that person behind that window who hands you your food or your coffee, they can't afford to live here. And that's what really keeps me up at night. Pompano Beach, I got to, I got to say, Pompano Beach, we've done a great job as far as affordable housing in the South Florida area. We are second in line behind Fort Lauderdale with the number of affordable housing units. So we're to be commended for that. Trust me, we are. But we don't want to be known as the affordable community because we want nice amenities to go along with the W. But we all need to put pressure on the elected leadership in every community in South Florida, not just Broward County, but every community in South Florida to ensure part of their plans include affordable housing. There are communities in Broward County, they don't have one affordable housing unit. And that's wrong. Everybody in Broward will change the face of our communities. I don't care where you live in South Florida, whether you're on the beach or you're in Coral Springs, Margate, Miami. I mean, that's sea level rise is happening. That's going to change our communities in a drastic way. It's going to be really expensive. We can adapt, but we need to keep our eye on that ball and keep investing in ways to make it livable here in South Florida. So those 2 things keep me up. Thank you.
Well, those are huge. I hope that you'll offer some incentives for developers for affordable housing, sea level rise. That's like
Yeah. I know.
tall, daunting existence for all of us.
Yep.
So, did anyone go see Darius Rucker?
Where is he?
Just saying. We talked about Bruce Springsteen and Jethro Tull, but we went to see Darius Rucker, Hootie and the Blowfish,
Where?
playing at the Broward Center. We talked about the benefits of Fort Lauderdale to Pompano Beach, and it was such a fun, sold-out
Yeah.
concert. It was just bopping around. I think there's no country western people around.
So was Mark,
I love Darius Rucker. That's great.
and Mark was singing to you the whole time. I only want to be with you, I'm sure.
He was doing everything else.
Yeah.
And actually, all of the zoning attorneys, it was all one big banker zoning.
That sounds really fun.
It was more than you think, but we talked about how the benefits of Fort Lauderdale to Pompano, Pompano to Fort Lauderdale. So I'd like to think about how Pompano is competing with Fort Lauderdale and how the cities benefit from each other. And Craig, I'll start with you.
Oh no! Fort Lauderdale's making Pompano the prettiest girl at the dance. Because first of all, it has gotten very crowded. It is very crowded. It's not nearly as beachy. My company is selling St. Regis Bahia Mar. When that project gets finished, it will alter the feeling, the feeling of that neighborhood. The feeling. Forget what it looks like. It's a feeling, and it will change it. It will upgrade it. But the prices in in Miami have rippled to Fort Lauderdale. The prices in Fort Lauderdale are now affecting for a developer's perspective, a really positive way here in Pompano. You want the South Florida experience? You know, the ocean temperature is the same here as South Beach. It's the same air. You're 10 minutes from Boca Raton, 15 minutes from Fort Lauderdale. So you're in this little enclave. In the words of Matt Gorson from Grand Prix Trower, I like how beachy it feels. You know, for me as a real estate broker growing up on the Jersey Shore, feels like this will, in short order, perhaps even command more money, Carolyn. The world's moving fast. Blame it on AI.
How much more money?
Right now, we're selling this. When this thing's done, look. I could have sold you a condo at Four Seasons and Surfside in 2019, before COVID, for $1,500 to $1,800 a foot. It's trading between $6,000 and $8,000 a foot. So if I sit here today and say, in 4 years, when this thing is really complete, $1,500 becomes $3,000, I'm totally comfortable with that. I'm a 69-year-old guy. I've been selling real estate for 47 years. This is a pocket influenced very much by one super expensive neighborhood, Boca. Boca's kind of funny, you know, 30 years ago when I came here, Del Rey was the poor man's Boca. You talk to people in Del Rey, Boca is the poor man's Del Rey. It's interesting how markets shift. Pompano,
Except for my Mandarin Oriental, I'm just.
well, except for that perhaps, but Mayor Rex, I love what you said about the people that work here. They cannot be forgotten. They have to be paid attention to, because otherwise this whole thing falls apart. The whole thing falls apart, and it won't because of guys like him. But I can see, I see the people that are buying here. And when I listen to guys like Gorson and Matt Allen, these guys can afford to buy anywhere. And imagine they're not leaving South Florida for their second homes. They're coming to Pompano. Yeah. I mean, they're not going to Hilton Head. Or as my Jewish friends from Miami, how they refer to North Carolina as the Jewish Alps. That kind of slowed down too. They're coming here. Carolyn, they're coming here. It feels beachy. And I growing up on the Jersey Shore, I get the feeling. Jersey has 3 months, June, July, and August. And people pay a lot of money to have those 3 months. We have it 12 months. So I see what's happening in Miami and Fort Lauderdale very much affecting the real estate values here. I don't think you can tap it down much longer. This is going to get to 2,000 pretty fast per foot as a blended average for the new stuff loaded with amenities. By the time this stuff is completed, AI is making the world spin really fast. You know, in my last Miami report, if I may, Florida and Texas have been like Muhammad Ali and Frazier. We've been the two fastest growing states by population for the last 10 years. But the IRS, of all things, the IRS, our dear friends from Washington, came out with a thing 3 weeks ago that I included in my Miami report, which was a little stunning. They talked about the amount of billions of new taxpayers that have moved to or from different states in the U.S. And it's in my Miami report. You can see it on YouTube, whatever. But here I'll give you the headline. From 2020 to 2024, the IRS measured $21 billion of additional taxpayers moved to Florida. Only $5 billion moved to Texas. Texas last year grew by net, births, deaths, people moving out, people moving in, 1,450 people every day. Florida, 1,350 people every day. So Texas beat us by a nose, if it's a Kentucky Derby, by a nose, in terms of daily population growth. But the wealth migration, Carolyn, Florida owns it. They're coming to Florida. And most of that, at the risk of sounding somewhat arrogant or cocky, and I swear I don't mean to come off like that at all, it's South Florida. It's Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. Their first stop is West Palm Beach, and then Miami, and then Fort Lauderdale. And Pompano is this, there's no way it's not getting affected by this. So when I say these prices will double by the time this building's finished, this is like a layup for me. As someone who's lived here for 34 years and someone who's been selling real estate for a long time, since Gerald Ford was president. So I really do think the challenge is for Mayor Rex to somehow keep this beachy, to keep this laid back. I don't have to wear an alphabet letter on my belt buckle when I live in Pompano. I can just be me. And that's the feeling that I'm hearing from the people buying at both Waldorf and W when they're buying in Pompano.
So Mayor, you talk a lot about how you're controlling the infrastructure, managing the traffic issues, but what are you doing to encourage more development? Because we have to bet on tomorrow. There are new buyers, we'll need to provide supply. What are you doing to encourage developers to help craft not just the affordable housing, but the luxury high taxpayer incentives?
Well, look, let's face it. I mean, the luxury product that builds our tax base in a hurry, and we love that.
Yeah.
We love that, and we are fortunate that we are so beachy here in Pompano Beach to attract this type of development. But also, we realize it's not all the beach area. We've got a big city here in Pompano Beach, and we're embarking on a very ambitious plan to create a new downtown for the city of Pompano Beach, which it's not here in the beach area. It's over to the west side of town. It's not going to be like Fort Lauderdale's downtown. That's not what our vision is. Our vision is that we will have retail, restaurant, housing, office space, lots of green space, an open promenade area runs through the middle of it. We're moving our city hall, building a new city hall to anchor the property. It's at the northwest corner of Atlantic Boulevard and Dixie Highway. We got about 75 acres in that area that we control, and we are going to build a downtown, which that offers tremendous opportunity. We expect somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 billion in investment in that area from the private sector, and that's going to deliver a lot of different product for folks that want to live and work and be in Pompano but can't afford to be in the beachy area. But they'll have easy access to our beachy area because this is Pompano Beach, and that's the key.
Was this I think Lamar spoke back 4 years ago, this is the Venice of Pompano Beach, right? That was the.
Well, yeah, this is.
Or I guess it's been going for longer.
This has been an ongoing project, not fine-tuned, but an ongoing project for over 30 years. We've been acquiring property in this area for the purpose of developing it, because the northwest section of Pompano Beach, anybody who knows Pompano Beach realizes that's the most disadvantaged, socially, economically disadvantaged area in Pompano Beach. It's also the area that contains our industrial base, which we're fortunate we got that. Huge benefit for Pompano Beach. But the folks that live in the northwest area of Pompano Beach, they have always been underserved in the city. I mean, it goes back to the early days of Pompano Beach, racial issues and things of that nature. That history is real, it's true. You can't hide it, but this is an opportunity to really change things for the folks in our northwest section of Pompano and generate some generational wealth. Because these people who live close to the downtown, their properties are going to go up in value. Just simply because of the proximity to this new development. Now, they're not going to get taxed out of their homes, of course, because we've got homestead exemptions and all the saving graces of those types of things. So those folks, what's going to happen as we build this new downtown, those folks' property around there in the surrounding area, their prices go up. They can either sell, they can keep it, they can give it to their kids, their grandkids, whatever they want to do, but it's a real opportunity for wealth accumulation for the people in Northwest Pompano. And that's one of my proudest achievements, is to change people's lives in such a way. And this is going to deliver housing, jobs, economic development, and change people's lives in that area. And that's part of the future, Pompano Beach.
Well,
Yes. I've got a hand up over
You
there.
got to get a little more passionate about Pompano, man.
Well, look, I love it. I grew up here. It's my town, and yeah, there's a lot to be passionate about because it is such a great city. It really is. Yeah.
Is that contagious or what?
Yeah, I'm telling you. I got a hand up. Am I allowed to take
Oh,
questions?
there's the tiger tamer. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing in the downtown for that downtown flavor, walkability for business, for pedestrian, restaurants, all that, like what is actually coming, when it's coming?
Well, right now, like I mentioned, our city hall is going to be rebuilt over kind of kitty corner across the street from where it is now. That's going to be the anchor for the whole downtown area. We've already heavily invested in the historic downtown of Pompano Beach, which is actually on the east side of Dixie Highway. We've done a lot in that area. There's some restaurants that have opened up there. Also, Adam Adachi, he's got a project that he built there. That's and eventually, when we move City Hall, that property will then be surplused out, redeveloped into something else, probably some sort of housing with mixed. I'm sorry.
The Adachi project is this school.
Yeah, that's Old Town Square. Old Town Square. So he's built that. He's going to build another one also. But our plan is to make that entire area, those four corners basically of Atlantic and Dixie, walkable. And also hopefully someday we will have a commuter rail in South Florida to go through the Eastern Corridor. Pompano Beach is already slated to have one of the stops for that. So people can live in Pompano Beach in our downtown area or surrounding area right there. They can take a train to Miami to go down there to watch a soccer game or basketball game, whatever. So it's part of the dream to help manage that traffic issue, to make it walkable. But you've got to have people there to make it walkable, and that's the first step. You've got to. It's hard to get started, but once that spark hits, then suddenly it's on fire, and that's it. We're building a city hall. Hopefully that's going to be more of a spark to make that all happen. Adam Adachi, we helped him with his project to build that first project to get that going and to create that downtown feel there. But yeah, it's going to be rolling out in the next, it's probably going to take 10, 15 years to complete this whole thing. But yeah, it's moving now. We'll be constructing the city hall hopefully within the next year.
I have just one more question for Craig, and then I would love to open to the floor if we have any other question answers, and then thank our panel very much. But Craig,
Carolyn.
what is the biggest misconception with brokers?
Oh, well, yeah, it's funny. A lot of the brokers from Latin America never heard of Pompano. So it might as well be in South Carolina, Yeah, unless they're from Brazil. I think, it's I wonder what happened. It's that my high school football coach is back in my head. Those that make things happen, those that watched what happened. There's a lot, and those that are wondering what's happening. There's just this perception that it's still Pompano.
Yep. It's hard to overcome
amazing.
History.
Rex, it's amazing.
Yes.
I think I'm pretty good at sales. I got a lot of brokers up here from Miami. When I finally get them up here, by the way, you say, meet me in Pompano. Oh my God, do you think if you're asking them to go to Orlando? Pompano. Are you going to serve lunch? It's unbelievable. And when they get here, well, it wasn't so bad. And then, by the way, this sales center, by related, is one of the nicest sales centers I've ever been in my career. This place is spectacular. We have this beautiful immersion room that Savan hogs because it tells such a wonderful story about W and all of Pompano. There's a video in there that'll make you fall asleep. It's so comfortable, you don't want to leave. It's not the story, it's the couch. Carolyn, it's still the Pompano. They think it's this. If they think it's Pompano, I'll say from 1975. When they get here though, when they leave here, I beg them to go to Waldorf. Michelle, you don't have many units left at Ritz. You're like 98% sold, so not much to see there. Once they see both, then they feel a vibe, and then it starts to change. But it's like building Lincoln Logs from the foundation up. It's little by little by little. But Savan, we bring a Miami broker up here. They don't come. Remember the old days, Carolyn? They would come in and I just want a brochure, and here's my business card.
Brochure you could give out.
Yeah. We don't do everything's electronic today and Dropbox stuff. They stay for 3 hours.
Yeah, that happened today.
Yeah.
We had a few brokers from Miami. Mary was working with a broker from Miami that came up here. She was, I think, pushing him to come here for the last 3 months. He got here and he's like, thank God you persisted because this is incredible. This is unbelievable.
So the answer to your question, it's still Pompano until they get here, and slowly it's becoming Pompa-yes. It slowly is, slowly. But it's a lot of work. It was a lot of work for Waldorf Astoria 3 years ago, and today they're 85% sold with two penthouses sold in almost $20 million.
Yeah.
So it's happening. It's just, Jesus, a lot of work.
And that's really, that shows the opportunity that we have right now. Because there is, in fact, I'd put this up against anything in Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, Sunny Isles, but the value you still have in Pompano, because of that historical perception. People remember Pompano Beach from 75 years ago, where this street shut down at dark. The people who lived in these condos, they ruled the city commission, and they didn't want their residence area disrupted. So that's what people remember of Pompano Beach. They don't realize that, yeah, we're beachy now. They still have that perception, but that shows the tremendous value proposition that Pompano Beach has. We are nestled between Fort Lauderdale and Boca, Miami and Boca, and still you're giving these things away.
Jason, Jason, you have to make the mayor an honorary member of the Master Brokers Association, please.
Anyway,
Back
to you. You're a professional.
No, you did it as well as anybody could. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Nestled between Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale. Have a nice day.
Yep.
That's really the story.
Right?
I mean, that's the story. And it's really about all of the upscale, wonderful, the improvements for De Pere. I think about all the area around Cafe Max. I think about the Tiki Bar, which was really super fun if no one's been there. The Tiki.
She's a Keys girl, so you gotta stand up for
Yeah,
yourself.
she's like, "Girl, there's a lot
Tiki
of
bars.
really fun." It's true. I'm teasing.
Yes, you
I
are.
haven't been there in so long because I'm busy in Fort Lauderdale and Pompano and Boca. So I think it's really wonderful, and I look forward to seeing what happens in the next 5 years
Yeah.
in this market. Mayor Harding, Craig Stednicki, I am honored to have you both at our panel, and I'd
wow.
love to wrap up. Are there any questions?
Questions, here we go.
Mr. Mayor, you're talking about the affordable housing, workforce housing. Is Pompano dealing with any of the Live Local projects that Fort Lauderdale's dealing with at the Galleria Mall? And do you guys have any issues with that going on?
Not so far. I mean, there's been some sniffing around, but it's interesting you would ask that question, though, because I got a comment from a local land use attorney, and his take on the Live Local Act in Pompano Beach. He said, we don't need that in Pompano Beach because you guys, we can talk to you, we can figure out how to do a deal, we can figure it out, so we don't have to bring in this thing called Live Local, which everybody hates. So I mean, there's been some sniffing around, but by and large, no. We haven't had those kind of issues that other communities have because like I said, we put out the welcome mat for development. We've got rules, we've got regulations, we've got form-based zoning. We can show you what we want, where we want it. And yep, there is money to be made, so let's work together. And that's been our motto, and that's one of the reasons why that spark has happened in Pompano Beach.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then aren't we gonna have the first east to west train in Pompano Beach? That's gonna connect everything?
I think you're probably talking about tri-rail to commuter rail. Is that it, or
Well, it started
East to
Tampa
west?
Road, yeah,
Like
east
to
west.
Tampa, Naples?
No, from east to west to connect, so for like people that can't afford, they can jump on the train.
Oh, so like west,
well?
Around where the
Pompano.
casino is.
I don't know how far west.
Yeah,
we're
no,
going.
there's no plans in Pompano to have that, east to west. I know there's been discussions about light rail throughout the county on certain major corridors, but first we got to have the commuter rail on the eastern section. We've got tri-rail, and that's working, and it works well for some things. But the eastern corridor is where we really need that commuter rail to go from downtown to downtown to downtown. That will allow workforce development to flourish along that corridor. Once we've got that, there are long-term plans throughout the county on various high-capacity roadways to create that east to west. It'll be some sort of light rail, not full rail, because that's just too expensive. But yeah, it's part of the plan.
Already there from years ago. They were just-
Well, there is a connection between the FEC on the eastern tracks and where the tri-rail runs in Pompano Beach. We have a crossover right there, so that was part of the planning for the whole commuter rail also, because you can do a crossover. So yeah, not to duplicate the efforts the tri-rail already has, so we can utilize commuter rail on the eastern tracks, then tie in with the other rail system out there.
But we need to sell and build more expensive real estate so we can contribute to your tax dollars.
Yes.
So we can pay for all of these wonderful additional amenities for our workforce housing.
Hey, can I just say one thing on behalf of Related now? On behalf of, Michelle, question.
One question. Can
No such thing as one question, Michelle.
Can you disclose what's currently in your pipeline for new debt? That hasn't been.
That's you for
What's
new
in your
development.
pipeline for new development?
Oh, pipeline for new.
Worked on right now, so can you disclose? Just how many of those projects are gonna be coming online?
I really don't know, to be honest with you. I don't get that. That's yeah. There's a lot of. We're very busy. We are. There's a lot of things that are always working at City Hall, and yeah, our building department, development services department, they've always got their hands full there, which I'm grateful. They do a great job. But no, I can't tell you that off the top of my head.
Like luxury product, that's what I'm saying, that type of pipeline.
Well, yeah, there's a few. There's still a few, and it's early yet. Like I said, I mean, we still, as time goes by and the value proposition becomes more apparent. I mean, I know, folks are looking at condominiums, elderly condominiums, so they can buy them, knock them down, repurpose them. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what's happening, and Pompano is ripe for that. We got opportunities.
Yeah. And if I may, I just got, on behalf of Related, Jason, Carolyn, and everyone from the Master Brokers of Broward County, I really want to thank you all for coming here tonight, but more particularly for the mayor. We've had a lot of events here. We've had a lot of events, mostly realtor events. Sunday we had an F1 thing here with a bunch of buyers that have already bought here. It was a lot of fun. But rarely do you get a chance to listen to the mayor of a community speak from his chin down about how he feels about this community. And I know that you're feeling a little bit of what he tried to share with you tonight. And it's kind of cool because I've learned in my long real estate career that most residential decisions, and you all know this, are emotional. They have to fall in love with the town. They have to fall in love with the house or the condo. They fall in love with fall in love with the floor plan. They gotta love it, or you ain't selling anything. And then the rest of it, the price per foot stuff, is all logic. Yeah. And he helped you tonight so much with the emotion about what Pompano is, and hopefully how he can hold it together the way I see it, like it is now, because that's what makes it so attractive to the buyers for Waldorf and W and Casamar and Solimar and the Ritz-Carlton. They kind of like the beachy thing. So, Mayor, buen suerte, as we say in Virginia or New Jersey. Good luck trying to hold it together, because that's the thing that makes it so nice. So thank you all for being here tonight on behalf of the